Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in. Before I start the episode, I would just like to say the following. This episode is about how I try to make things as safe as possible when I take my 14-footer out of the inlet. Just note that because you may check a bunch of safety boxes doesn't mean something can't still go wrong. The ocean doesn't care. My hope is that some of this helps you and your crew stay safer too, but as the captain, you're always responsible for yourself, your passengers, and everyone around you. Every boat, every inlet, and every day is different. Operate within your limits, your comfort level, and your experience. Boating always comes with risk. Please stay safe. Thank you. Enjoy the episode. Hey everybody, this is Out to Sea. My name is Tom. Thank you for joining. I am a lifelong fisherman. I worked on a ocean fluke fishing boat for 9 years. I'm an avid spear fisherman, surfer. I do a lot of stuff around it, in between, very outdoorsy. And this is episode 7 where we're going to be talking about safety. And so this mini series is around my 14-foot Livingston and how I get it to the point where I can take it to chase thresher sharks, bluefin tuna, mahi, take it out 15 miles. I have a lot of pictures and stuff up on my Instagram, which is Out to Sea NY. Take a look, subscribe there, subscribe here. Yeah, so what we're going to walk through is safety. I mean, this probably should have been maybe episode number 2, because this is like, I mean, when you're going out there in a 14-foot boat and you're going 50 miles offshore, safety is key. I mean, I can't stress it enough. I don't recommend anybody just going out there. There are certain boats that I mean, it took me years to find this boat because I knew what it could do. It's extremely stable. It's got a pretty decent freeboard for its size. But aside from the boat itself, right, you don't want to push the boat beyond its capabilities. So if you have a boat that's lower to the water, has a short shaft motor on it, I would not recommend going out there. I couldn't imagine. Also, when we think of going out there, there's means that you need to come back, right? That's the goal. You want to go out and you want to come back. So I don't think I personally would not go out there unless I had a second motor, right? So as you can see, see it back there, I have the 20 horsepower tiller as my main, and then I have a 3.5 horsepower Tohatsu. In previous videos I went through the fuel system. I do have the capability of having a hose go from my tanks to the top of that Tohatsu. I have a separate cap for it. So that is part of way I can get in, right? Another is that I have a paddle, not that I'm going to be paddling 15 miles back to shore. I have 600 feet of anchor line in case I have to stay put. So there's never going to be a place where I'm not going to be able to touch bottom with the anchor. But also I have even the point where I have a tarp in the boat in case I need to put it up to have the wind push me, and hopefully the wind's out of the south because Long Island situates. I fish off the south shore of Long Island. If it's blowing out of the north, I'm probably throwing the anchor. But yeah, so just having the ability to get to and from, and then I mean, it's going to sound ridiculous, but I also have a kiteboarding kite on the boat, which we can get to in another episode. That's an interesting one. I'm sure people are like, what? Kite? Okay, so what we're also going to do, so aside from just your ability to get to and from, and I mean the other thing too is insurance, like, or getting Sea Tow or Boat US. I mean, they'll bring you in, right? So not a bad service to have. Recommend it. Now what we're going to do, aside from getting back to the dock, you also want to stay afloat. So there's a lot of maintenance items I have in there. I have a spare prop. I have putty that I can just slap on the hull in case I get a hole in it. If I strike a piece of wood in the water, let's say, and it cracks somewhere, I can slap a piece of putty in there. I have extra plugs. I have tools in case something breaks down on the main motor and I want to try to fix it. So we can dive some into that as well. All right. So a lot of the stuff that I have is safety-wise is in this console, which we did go through on a separate episode, not the safety stuff, but the console. Obviously I have safety. I mean, you have the Coast Guard requirements, life jackets, one jacket per passenger. Here's the kite. But anyway, All right, so let's get in here. So in here I have my radio, which is a handheld. I don't have the antenna on because the antenna gets banged around. So little Cobra handheld. I mean, it works well. Haven't really had a chance, well, haven't really needed to use it, which is great. All right, so as I take some of this stuff out, the other thing is I have multiple bilge pumps. I have bilge pumps for port and starboard that are on switches. They're not automatic, so, but I mean, if I'm on here, you don't need automatic switches, because I could just take a look back and see if it needs it. There is my spare prop right there. Can't see it, but it's in that that cloth there. So this is a Firefly Pro. This replaces your chemical flares, but I also have those as well. I have storm whistle. In case I have wires to charge my phone. So those are old ones. I gotta get the newer ones in there. That's not safety. Well, safety in the fact that if you're dealing with a shark, you don't have to worry about it biting your hand. So we can count that. This is the fuel system. I went over this in a previous video for the Tahatsu, so I can plug it into the tanks. So I have spare parts, right? So I have a few spare items in there. Cotter pin in case the prop falls off. This is all for the prop there. These are the tools that came with the Hatsu and the tools that came with the Suzuki. I do keep my manual in there for the Suzuki. Could be helpful, right? I keep a spare plug. And then I have my flares. Here's that putty I was talking about earlier. Those are probably gotta swap those out this year. I think they expire. And then here is my first aid kit. So in my first aid kit, I have a whole host of things, and include, well, I'm not gonna take it all out because it's gonna make a mess, but even a tourniquet I have in there. What else do I have? Whistle, flares. Also underneath this, I have my compass. The other thing too is, like, it doesn't stop with what you have in your boat when it comes to safety, because knowledge is a thing. So aside from everything I have in the boat, life jackets, spare, this, that, things to get in, paddleboard, paddle, I also like to read on emergency navigation. So like a quick tip for here is that you'll always see me wear an analog watch. Reason being is that now if I ever didn't have a compass, and let's say it was a sunny day, and as long as I knew the time, I didn't have a compass, I could tell you which way was south, which way is north, right? So an easy way to do that is if you were to look at the sun, right? You could see the sun is this way because of the shadows, right? That shadow, so it's pointing right there, right? So that's where the sun is. It's kind of a bad time to do it, but if I am at 12 o'clock right now, or I'm getting close to it, it's 11 and change. Now, if you ever needed to know, and you could test this out, which way south was on an analog watch, and you could do with other watches. I mean, if you have a watch that, I think they have the hands, because I mean, what we care about right now is the little hand, the hour hand. If you were to point that hour hand at the sun, and then you halved the distance between that hour hand and 12 o'clock, that line you draw through would be south, right? So today, I mean, it's really not going to make a change all that much, right? Because we said that we could probably match it up with the shadow there. Let's do that. Let's try it. So that is pretty much dead center pointing at the shadow, right? So, I mean, it's still going to be south. It's like you're talking about just a couple degrees off where the sun is right now, but south would be that way, right? So as the sun, this is going to be hard to probably imagine, as the sun goes this way, right? Goes from left to right, the hour hand's going to do the same. So when the sun is this way, let's say it was at we'll say 2 o'clock, right? So if the sun was that way and I pointed at 2 o'clock to the sun over here and split the difference, I'd be right back to where we were just pointing as far as south goes. Easier to show when I'm not dealing with the 12 o'clock, but moral of the story is that safety doesn't stop with what you have in the boat. It doesn't stop with having sea tow. It doesn't stop with well, I mean, insurance isn't safety, but I would say some of the other items you got to think about is even just having a float plan, right? Just letting somebody know where you're going to be and sticking to it. I know things change on the water, where sometimes you sound like, oh, instead of going here, I'm going to go there. I mean, try to keep communication open with folks. If you can reach them, let them know that you're changing your plan, because God forbid something were to happen out there. You want to shorten the distance where they have to look for you. But for me, I also don't like to rely on other people to get me out of bad situations. So that's why I have all this redundancy on the boat between extra prop, extra bilge pumps, different ways to go somewhere, do something, right? So that concludes our episode 7, talking about how I take this boat and being able to do some of the things I do on it with the 20 horsepower tiller, chasing bluefin tuna, going after thresher sharks, chasing mahi, taking it 15 miles offshore. So we were just talking about safety. Absolutely huge, 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 huge. Doesn't stop with what you have on board. Understanding how to use the things you have on board, like say a tourniquet. If you need to apply a tourniquet, you have to know how to use it, because seconds do count on those kind of things. And you want to make sure, you want to have everything be second nature. You don't have to be out there, something go very wrong, and then you're guessing what you should do, how you should use something. But the thing is that you want to avoid the situations altogether. Watch weather. Weather is critical. Don't push your boat beyond where you're comfortable. I can't stress it enough. If you don't have the window, you don't have the window. Change up your plan. Stay inshore if you still want to fish. Don't get out there and try to brave the rough seas. Anyway, so if you have any comments, please add them down below. Appreciate any tips, any suggestions, how I can improve, or just comments in general. If there's anything you want to see me do, if you want me to dive into deeper. Also, you can subscribe, or you can follow me on Instagram. My account is OutToSeaNY. I really do appreciate it, and thank you so much. And hope you all have a great day, and talk to you soon.